You gave her everything, your time, your energy, your love, and then she vanished. No text, no call, no explanation. Now you're left staring at a cold screen, haunted by one question. How could a woman who once loved me now act as if I don't exist? You're not crazy for feeling this way. You're not weak for missing her. You're human, and what you're about to learn may shake you, because most men never hear this truth. They keep living in the dark, chasing answers, repeating the same painful cycle. But if you're tired of feeling powerless when she pulls away, if you're ready to break free from that grip, this video will change everything. The truth is harsh. It's uncomfortable. But it will transform you if you have the courage to stay until the very end. So lean in, because what I'm about to reveal will show you exactly why a woman ignores you, not because she stopped loving you, but for reasons most men never understand. Let's begin. Number 1, her silence is a test, not rejection. What if I told you, every time she pulls back, she's placing you in front of a mirror you've spent your life avoiding, a mirror that strips away distraction, that removes applause, that silences validation, and in that space, she's not disappearing to punish you. She's watching, she's observing if you can stand tall without her praise, or if you collapse the moment her attention fades. You see, this is where most men stumble. They confuse attention with affection, and the moment that attention disappears, they spiral, they chase, they analyze every pause. Every unread message becomes a story in their mind. They grasp for reassurance like a drowning man reaching for air. But here's the brutal truth. She is not drawn to the man who begs to fill the silence. She is drawn to the man who can sit in it, to the man who remains grounded, focused, undisturbed, whose energy stays centered in the middle of uncertainty, because true power doesn't come from how loud you react. It comes from how calm you remain. Now think about this. When was the last time she pulled away? Did you chase her? Did you send that extra text, desperate to keep the connection alive? Or did you rise? Did you close the gap between your doubt and your confidence? By becoming a version of yourself that cannot be ignored. Because when you shift from asking, "Do you still love me?" to declaring, "I love myself enough to walk away if I must," you transcend the game completely. Understand this. She is not confused. She is calculating. She wants to know, can this man carry his name without needing mine beside it? Because when you stop needing her to stay, that's when she starts wondering, what kind of strength is making him willing to let go? That moment of stillness, that ability to remain solid, is what separates high-value men from the rest. And trust me, she will test it. She will delay her responses. She will change her patterns. She will create distance, not because she is cruel, but because she needs to feel. Can his character hold when convenience disappears? Picture this. You're sitting alone. Your phone lights up, but it's not her. Her last message, still unread. Hours have passed. Your chest tightens. The urge builds. Maybe I should send something, just to keep the thread alive. But what if you didn't? What if you shut the app, stood up, and went straight to work? Not to distract yourself, but to re-establish your frame, your mission, your dominance over your own mind. Because in that simple choice, you teach her something no text ever will. My value does not decrease when your availability does. That is Stoic masculinity in motion. Anchored, mission-led, emotionally self-regulated. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. So revoke it. Revoke the urge to overthink her pauses. Revoke the belief that connection requires constant access. Revoke the idea that love must always be loud. Instead, become the man who can vanish into his purpose and return even more magnetic. If she's not calling, don't call. If she's distant, don't fill the silence with noise. Fill it with results, with elevation, with so much presence that your absence becomes a mystery she cannot ignore. There's a story about a man who once stopped chasing completely. He realized the more he pursued her during her withdrawal, the less of her he got. So he shifted. He poured himself into building a life so rich in discipline, in purpose, in wealth, that his time became sacred. And what happened? She began to reappear, not because he reached out, but because she could feel that his energy no longer reached for her. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. That's not punishment, it's preservation. Now ask yourself, can you become that man? Can you feel her withdrawal and still walk boldly toward your mission as if nothing has changed? Can you release the obsession to decode her and instead decode yourself? Because what scares her is not your strength, it's your inconsistency. What turns her away is not your masculinity, it's your instability. The truth is, she already saw potential in you. She just needs to know, is it real or is it romanticized? And only your reaction to her distance will give her the answer. Look to the most powerful men in history. Did they beg to be noticed? Did they campaign for emotional security? No, they built empires. They magnetized loyalty, love, and devotion by who they were, not by what they gave away for free. You were not built to chase moods. You were built to regulate your own and let your consistency set the standard. Because when she sees that you can be still, not because you're waiting, but because you've anchored yourself, she will see you differently. Not just as someone she once dated, but as someone she can trust with her uncertainty, because you've mastered your own. Don't fear her stepping back. Use it as the space you needed to become undeniable. Ask yourself right now, if she never texted again, would your value decrease? Or would your progress increase? Would your heart sink? Or would your standards rise? This is the moment where your masculinity is either defined by her mood or shaped by your mindset, and you get to choose. Become the man who doesn't need to be chased, because everything about his life is already moving forward. Be that man, not for her return, but for your evolution, because the more you grow, the more you glow, and in that glow, she won't remember your words. She'll remember the man who didn't fold, the man who, in the middle of emotional distance, chose discipline over desperation. That's the man she respects. That's the man she can't forget. And that is the man you're becoming. Number 2, you gave her emotional control. It didn't happen overnight. It happened the moment you let her approval become the thermostat of your self-worth. Without even knowing it, you handed her control over your inner world, not through big declarations, but through small, silent choices, canceling your workout to reply faster, second-guessing your tone, after every message, shifting your entire day just to fit her unpredictability. Each time you adjusted, you sent one message, loud and clear. My masculinity bends for affection. My emotional center is now negotiable. And that's where it all began to break. Because no matter how sweet it feels in the moment, this is the very ground where resentment, imbalance, and detachment take root. You start reacting instead of deciding. Your schedule morphs into an extension of her mood swings. Your identity shrinks down to whatever keeps her comfortable. And here's the truth. A woman might smile at your attentiveness on the surface, but deep down, she begins to question the man who abandons his structure just to stay close. Not because she's cruel, but because deep within her biology, she needs to know this simple truth. Can this man lead himself when I cannot? Because life will bring storms, and if you crumble just to secure her approval, how can she trust you to lead through real adversity? This is why you must reclaim the reins of your emotional house. It starts now. You must rebuild the leadership you quietly gave away. That means making decisions not to impress her, but to impress your future self. It means crafting a life so purposeful that even love must wait its turn. It means remembering this. The man who loses himself to gain her heart will soon lose both. And understand, she tests for this constantly, not through arguments, but through observation. She watches how you shift when she's less responsive. She notices how quickly you chase when she pulls back. She sees how fast you abandon your values when you fear losing her. Every time you do, you teach her that her attention is your anchor, and no woman, no matter how loving, wants to carry the weight of a man's stability. What draws her is not your devotion, it's your decisiveness. Not a man whose worth shifts with her moods, but a man whose inner world remains steady and unshaken. The man who builds empires, not just relationships. And when she sees that you are no longer altered by her availability, something shifts inside her. She begins to feel safe again, not because you are trying to create safety, but because your consistency demands it. Remember this, above all, you are not here to regulate her peace. You are here to protect your own. And from that overflow, she will feel a masculine presence she can finally trust, not because she was convinced, but because she remembers what it feels like to stand beside a man who leads himself first. Number 3, she feels your desperation. And no, she doesn't need to read your mind to sense it. She feels it the moment your energy shifts, from grounded to seeking, from intentional to reactive. It leaks out in small ways. You lean too hard into conversations. You double back on your words just to stay agreeable. You compromise your values, hoping to win her closeness. But what truly draws her isn't your devotion. It's your decisiveness, the unwavering self-respect that says, even if I walk away, I won't lose myself. And it's that clarity, not compliments or constant availability, that pulls her closer. The moment you stop grasping and start growing, your presence evolves. You become rare. So rare, she's forced to reevaluate everything she thought about you. Picture this. You're texting her. The responses slow down. The energy drops. Your instinct to fill the gap, to send another message, to call, to force back what's fading. But what if you didn't? What if you paused? Not to wait, but to build. What if you used that discomfort as fuel to sharpen your craft, strengthen your body, fortify your mind? And what if, Instead of asking why she's pulling back, you asked, why did I give her so much of my identity in the first place? Because that discomfort you feel, it's not a punishment, it's a compass. It's showing you where you need to lead yourself. Understand this. Desperation isn't just in messages, it's in how much of your self-worth you've tied to her responses. And here's the truth. A man who is whole without her will always be more magnetic than the man who needs her to feel complete. You've seen this yourself. Think back. How did she react when you were focused, when you were unavailable, when you were locked into your flow? Now compare that to the times you were chasing, clinging, off-center. She may have smiled in both moments, but only one version of you left a lasting mark. And it wasn't the one who tried harder, it was the one who didn't need to, the one whose progress was so undeniable. She had to wonder what in your life mattered more than her. Don't fall for the lie that proving your worth to her makes her stay. Proving your worth to yourself makes you impossible to ignore. And the man who can walk away with peace in his eyes and power in his stride is the man she never forgets, because he carries a truth louder than any words. I am enough with or without you. And that energy, it doesn't chase love, it attracts it. And it holds it with gravity, not grip. Number 4, she's waiting to feel your gravity, not your effort, not your charm, not your pursuit. Your gravity, the pull that once drew her in, wasn't born from trying harder to impress her. It came from the quiet dominance of a man whose life was full, directed, driven by purpose, a man whose time and energy were sacred and whose world others had to earn their place in. But somewhere along the way, you forgot that. You forgot that what first drew her was your trajectory, not your attention. Your mission, not your messages. And now you wonder why her desire has faded. Ask yourself, when did your goals take a back seat to her affection? When did you become available at all hours, flexible with your priorities, more invested in proving loyalty than protecting purpose? Because the man who knows who he is never tries to be convenient. He makes his presence felt by the weight of his direction, by the certainty of his focus, and in that certainty, she feels safe to be feminine, to relax, to trust that his love is not dependency, but overflow. If you want to restore that polarity, stop fighting for her attention. Start becoming the center of your own gravity again. Picture this. You're building a home on a mountain. Would you abandon the foundation every time the weather shifted? Or would you keep building? Because you trust the blueprint and the strength of the mountain beneath you. That's what your life must be. Anchored in depth, unmoved by temporary emotion, led by something larger than lust. And when she sees you no longer reaching for her hand to steady yourself, but standing firm with intention, she will notice, not because you said anything, but because the tension in your need will have dissolved into the certainty of your becoming. The truth is this: most men lose attraction, not from weakness, but from self-forgetting, from trading the fire that built their confidence for the comfort of closeness. And while that warmth may feel good at first, it is the fire that forged you that she trusted. And once that fire dims, so does the pull that made her stay. Every time you cancel your priorities to accommodate her unpredictability, you shrink your signal. Every time you pause your growth to secure her reassurance, you dull your power. And it's only when you stop chasing balance and start choosing dominance over distraction that she begins to feel again what first moved her, the pull of your path, the intensity of your focus, the magnetism of a man who is moving forward, whether she walks beside him or not. Think back to the version of yourself who didn't wait for permission to build, who trained harder, spoke less, achieved more. He didn't need constant check-ins, didn't explain his schedule, didn't beg for inclusion. He led, he moved, and that movement created the polarity she craved, not through words, but through momentum. Here's the deeper truth. When a man loses his mission, he loses his edge. And when he loses his edge, he becomes emotionally forgettable, not because he lacks value, but because he forgot how to hold it. If you want her to feel again, stop asking her to respond. Start becoming undeniable again. Turn your mornings into mastery, your goals into gospel, your boundaries into law. And from that structure, she will feel again what no conversation can recreate, the undeniable truth that real men don't cling, they climb. Number 5, she needs to know you don't flinch, not when things get quiet, not when her energy shifts, not when the warmth cools. She doesn't want a man who reacts to every change in the relationship's temperature. She wants a man who knows his own climate, steady, unmoved, Zofain, a man who doesn't flinch when affection fades, or panic when engagement wanes. And you prove that, not by suppressing your truth, but by strengthening your presence, by embodying calm, without needing to declare it, by speaking less and moving with intention. Every time you resist the urge to explain, to justify, to chase her back, you show her this. Your center is internal, not dictated by her mood, nor by circumstance. And this kind of grounded consistency, it isn't just respected, it's desired, because it signals something deeper, that you can guide not only yourself, but anyone close to you. And that is the foundation of trust, of attraction, of emotional safety, not created through effort, but through essence, through mastering the pause, holding your truth, remaining grounded, even when emotions tempt you to veer off course. Picture this. She grows distant, the energy shifts, but instead of sending long messages, instead of dramatizing the space, you stay steady. You continue with your plans, with calm clarity, not because you're cold, not because you're suppressing how you feel, but because you've mastered the art of feeling deeply without reacting destructively. And that presence, that calm, that's what makes her return, not just with presence, but with respect, because a man who doesn't flinch communicates this. You are free to come and go, but my standards remain immovable. Now ask yourself, do you trust yourself when things go quiet? Or do you instinctively reach for her to stabilize your sense of being? Because here's the truth. If your self-worth shrinks in her absence, your identity isn't sovereign. It's leased through her availability. And no woman, especially one seeking real trust, wants to carry that emotional weight. Your stillness must be earned, not acted. Your calm must be cultivated, not copied. And you build it by facing these moments of absence and choosing structure over reaction. By showing her that while she may affect your emotions, she will never dictate your direction. And from that space of clarity, you demonstrate what few men ever do. Emotional authority. You stay grounded. Without acting indifferent, you remain kind. Without becoming a doormat, you speak truth. without pleading for understanding. You lead, not through pressure, but through presence. You command space, not through dominance, but through depth. And when she sees that you're not rushing to fill the space she created, she begins to see you are exactly the kind of man she can trust to lead her somewhere real, not because you demanded it, but because you proved it when you didn't flinch. Number 6. If you chase, you become repelling. Chasing her doesn't prove your love. It exposes your emptiness. The part of you that hasn't yet learned that love without self-respect becomes weakness. Desperation may wear the mask of passion, but it is always felt as pressure. And pressure doesn't pull anyone closer. It pushes them away, slowly at first, then completely, until your presence no longer feels safe, but suffocating. And when that happens, what she once admired in you begins to feel heavy. Understand this: what draws a woman isn't a man who floods her world with attention. It's the man who brings clarity to it. Not the man who needs validation through her presence, but the one who enhances her peace without needing to be her center. Now think back. The last time she pulled away, how did you respond? Did you ask yourself why your strength wavered, or did you rush to fill a gap she needed to feel, to remember what you truly offer? Here's the truth. Every time you chase, you erase mystery. And with mystery, you erase attraction, because she doesn't want a man she can keep in her pocket. She wants a man whose presence stretches her mind, whose calm makes her feel safe, not smothered. And when you beg for closeness, you force her to question why it's so easy to receive what should be earned. And remember, anything that comes too easily is rarely valued. So if you want to stop being the man she tolerates and become the man she treasures, stop proving, start pruning. Prune the habits that made you predictable. Prune the need to be seen to feel secure. Prune the emotional dependency you've disguised as commitment. And what remains will be the version of you she quietly hopes you'll become: grounded, unshaken, intentional. She wants to feel that you could walk away, not because you don't care, but because you refuse to abandon yourself chasing her approval. And in that choice, she remembers who you truly are. Not the man who fell for her, but the man she fell for. It's not about being cold. It's about being composed. And in that composure, she sees the strength no words can convey. Because she doesn't need explanations. She needs demonstration. So ask yourself, can you stay in your power when hers is uncertain? Can you maintain your discipline when her affection fades? Can you choose self-respect when it would be easier to reach out? If not, you don't need her. You need alignment. You need practice. You need space. From the need to be needed, only then can you return. As the man whose presence commands, not begs, whose energy calms, not craves. And the moment you embrace this truth, that being unavailable for nonsense is more attractive than being available for validation, you'll stop chasing completely. Not from anger, but from evolution, because the man you're becoming doesn't have time to prove he's worthy of love. He's too busy becoming love itself. Number 7. You're the prize. Let her chase you. Not because of money, not because of looks, not because of clever words, because you've done the work, built discipline, earned strength. A man who carries this certainty doesn't seek attention. He attracts it, not through force, but through alignment. When your mind is rooted, your energy speaks. before any word is spoken. And when your life is driven by purpose, not persuasion, she feels it on a level words can't touch. So stop chasing her love. Start becoming the man whose very existence sets a standard she must meet. If she hopes to join your world, this shift doesn't need noise. It requires alignment, repetition, relentless focus that never apologizes for its ambition. Picture the man who rises before the world stirs, who builds his body like a fortress, sharpens his mind like a blade, guards his time like treasure, and only welcomes those into his space who match his values. That is the man she follows. Not because he demands loyalty, but because his life demands attention. And when you embody this man, she won't walk away. She'll question why she ever made you wait. This isn't arrogance, it's awareness. And awareness is the foundation of true power. And power isn't loud. It's still, it's present, it's selective. And when she sees you no longer trying to prove your worth, she'll start evaluating her own. Men who know they are the prize don't panic when tested. They observe, they adjust, they grow, and they remain grounded. That's the energy that shifts dynamics. Because women don't chase men who ask for chances, they chase men who create standards. And each time you withhold validation until it's earned, each time you protect your energy from casual access, each time you walk away from what disrespects your growth, you shape yourself into the kind of man who not only attracts quality, but repels nonsense. And as you embrace this truth, you'll feel less and less urge to fix broken dynamics, because you'll realize the most powerful position a man can take in any relationship is where his peace doesn't flinch, his vision doesn't blur, and his standards do not bend. So from this moment forward, become that man. Not for her return, not for revenge, not to prove anything, but because a man who walks through life knowing he is the prize eventually forgets what chasing even feels like. If this message hit something deep in you, if it mirrored the pain you've carried in silence, in those nights where her absence felt louder than any goodbye, in the moments you questioned your worth because she made you feel invisible, then this isn't just another video. It's a mirror, a reminder that your story doesn't end in heartbreak, that you are not weak for feeling lost. You're human for caring. But now, you must become deliberate about who you become next, because no one teaches men how to handle emotional withdrawal. No one teaches us how to hold the line. When everything in us wants to reach out, we're told to man up, to suppress, to move on as if none of it touched us. But strength isn't in pretending you're unaffected. Strength is in mastering the pause, standing still without shrinking, and reclaiming yourself one silent breath at a time. You're not alone in this. You're not broken. You're awakening. And if this message stayed with you until the end, that means there's something in you that's ready to rise. Not to chase, not to prove, but to evolve. Because every man hits that moment, the moment where you stop waiting for closure and start becoming it. So I challenge you, rewrite your story on your terms. Don't spend another year chasing people who undervalue you or questioning your worth in someone else's silence. Your silence has power. Your stillness speaks. And your discipline, your focus, your energy, they were never meant to be given away freely. So here's what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below. Share your truth. Let me know this message found you. Let the world know you're done begging for crumbs. and ready to build something unshakable. Like this video. If it helped you find even 1 ounce of clarity, share it with a brother who's been walking through confusion without direction, and subscribe, because this channel isn't for the man chasing love. It's for the man becoming it.